even if I, don't get everything done during the day, I'm not beating myself up because I know I've done the best I can. So I think when I'm at my best is when I am letting go.
Welcome to the Earn Your Happy podcast. I'm Lori Harder, founder of Light Pink, best-selling author, 3-time fitness world champion, and I'm a crazy, multi-passionate entrepreneur. My journey has taken me everywhere, from being a broke waitress, barista, retail associate, and personal trainer with massive anxiety and no belief in myself, to later becoming a multi-millionaire in love with my life. In 2007, my husband and I lost everything. We found ourselves hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt at rock bottom. We had no ideas, and I had no education to fall back on. This is when I found personal development and learned everything I could about business. Not by choice, but because I realized no one was coming to save me. The conversations on this podcast are going to let you know that you're not alone and that we all feel like we don't know what we're doing. We're going to give you the tools to help you face your fears, take action, start your business, and grow those massive dreams that are keeping you up at night. It's time to create a life that you can't hide from and put so much on the line that your higher self is forced to come out. You're going to stop waiting for someone to approve of you, and you're going to anoint yourself. Because I'm obsessed about building businesses that give women a platform, I want to feature you. So if you text the word podcast to 310-496-8363, you can get your questions answered on our Q&A segment along with a shout out. And if you rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, we're choosing someone every month to get coached and featured on our show. It just might be you. So let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. I am so excited for my guest today, Kalilah Wright. She was born in Jamaica, migrated to the United States at the tender age of 4, and was raised in Brooklyn, New York. She's the founder and CEO of the expressive brand Mess in a Bottle. If you don't follow that yet, you absolutely have to go follow her page, Mess in a Bottle. It's incredible. She's an accomplished designer and trained architect. She used her master's degree from Morgan State University and bachelor's of arts from Penn State University to establish the brand in January 2016 in Baltimore, Maryland. Mess in a Bottle brand was established to evoke change, question Kalilah's audience, and allow individuals wearing their message to be vocal without saying anything at all. Each item is designed and printed at her Baltimore in-house studio space. You guys, I absolutely love this conversation, and I can't wait for you to listen in. Let's get started. Kalilah, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
So one of my girlfriends, one of my best friends was literally like, "Oh my God, do you follow this girl?" And I was like, "No, I need to know who." And she was like, "I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with the shirts. I'm obsessed with everything she has to say." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'm going to follow." So I started following you about 6 months ago. And I love you because you do so many, things for women. And also I love that your entrepreneurial spirit, like you love helping people create that thing that they know that they should be doing in the world. So I want to know, what is your business and where did it come from? Like where did the idea start? How did you get into it?
So I became an entrepreneur a little bit over 5 years ago. I was an architect for a major retail company, sports retail company. And, I just really, I think that I was sitting at my desk like many other people. And I just thought, I'm like, all right, I love what I'm doing, but I'm like, this can't be it. I'm still like struggling financially. And I really wanted to figure out like how to expand, sort of my knowledge and what I do and like just my design skills. And I wasn't really appreciated as much in architecture. So, I decided to start my own company. And it became this apparel company. And I think that it developed and sort of catapulted and became this thing, this phenom in which I could really share my message and give a message to people. And that's where I really found, really realized that I was in the place and space that I'm supposed to be in, because people really loved what I was creating.
Mm. So we talk a lot on here about the transition. Like, what did that look like from going to, your architecture job where you're like, okay, like this is what everybody thought you were doing. It's probably what you thought you were going to be doing for the rest of your life. And then saying, I'm going to go start this thing. Like, did you have a lot of people supporting you, or was this kind of like, what did that transition look like?
A lot of my friends and family, they were just like, look, whatever you're going to do, we are here to support. We're here to buy it. We're here to cheer you on. I think that from any, standpoint, everyone's like, are you really going to leave like your 6-figure job to go ahead and to do like the unknown? And I was just like, yeah, you got to bet on yourself. And I mean, I'm so happy that I decided to. So I think that transition was, of course, difficult. Just unsure about like a paycheck. I did not have much money saved. I started messing about with less than $500. So this has really been one of those things where I'm really happy that, my gamble actually worked.
Yeah, definitely. Like that transition period where you're like, what did you focus on? Was it because it just brought you so much joy, or did you kind of have this feeling if you really became more you and started sharing, these ideas and messages that you were having internally? Like, how did you feel like you knew it would work, or what was the thing that made you feel that way?
So I always joke, but my first year of business, I feel like I wandered around aimlessly because I wasn't sure. Like I really wasn't sure. And I had all of these other interests that I was sort of toying with. But, Messing About was the business that sort of made money and people were really interested in it. So, I told myself after being out of work for a couple of months, I was just like, focus on this. Like it's doing well. People really like it. So focus here and give it all your energy and see what happens in the next year. And so, I think the first year I would position myself around like other entrepreneurs, and I would, sort of pull from some of the things that I learned at my other, like, when I did have a 9 to 5, so I was a teacher at one point, as well as working at different architecture firms. So I really started to pull from that to structure a business. And I think it was really important for me to remember, like, okay, you need to create a schedule. You need to like really figure out, what is your marketing plan? What are your design, aesthetics and the branding? So it took me kind of a while to kind of, find a momentum. But once I found it and found a rhythm, I was just like, okay, this is it.
So I heard you say a couple of things in there that I feel like are so important and that were just huge breakthroughs for me too. And it was, the focus of understanding, okay, taking what you applied from your other jobs, probably the schedule and needing clarity around certain things. And what does it look like to work backwards with a goal and a project and all of the things that you forget that as an entrepreneur, you kind of don't have a boss like telling you how to set this up or what to do. So what did you like immerse yourself with other entrepreneurs? Like, did you take courses? Did you listen to podcasts? Like, how did you have to switch so that you learned how to, manage yourself and to really create that focus?
So I did a couple of things. I definitely, started listening to a lot of like podcasts, as well as positioning myself around a lot of entrepreneurs. I joined some great Facebook groups with entrepreneurs. I met my mentor, Nicole Walters, around this time as well.
She's awesome.
And so, yes. And so positioning myself around like the success and really seeing what it is like to structure a business and not just a side hustle, really was something that I think was instrumental in my process. So, as I started to like sort of put the pieces together, like a puzzle, and sort of saying, you have to put this here for this to work with that. And, and so those are some of the things that I did to really sort of ensure like, that I was on this like successful path.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my God. So important. That's been one of the biggest things for me is just having those mentors and people to be accountable to, like just making sure that you show up, for those people and for all the people who are now following you and for your business. So I want to know about, I was reading some of your blogs on your page, and you talked a lot about just kind of owning your greatness and like really trying to step in even more into yourself and like really, own who you are and show that to the world, show it to your audience. Do you still work on that daily? What does that look like? What is something that you are trying to own right now that's trying to come through for you?
I would just say, I think organization and structure. I've been a person that I usually work within the mess, and and that's not always like sort of a bad thing. But what I'm realizing now is, as I have employees, if I have things happening around me, like people require structure, people require organization. So I think I've just been really working on finding that balance and not losing my greatness, but like really ensuring that, I'm paying attention and that I'm able to, if you're not organized or if you're not structured and even planning with a lot of things, you start, things become chaotic. And sometimes it's really hard to, to really go through with things and get them accomplished if you're all over the place. So I've been really trying to, work really hard with not doing so much within the mess, but really organizing and structuring some of it.
I'm feeling you so hard right now. I like, I came from previous businesses where I could work really successfully within the mess, but now I've started a new company where I'm working with all these teams, and I am really observing how it's like holding me to a much higher standard in order for them to function. And I actually am functioning better, but it is harder to kind of go back and, undo all of those habits that did work for you, but don't work for you now. Do you have something, on top of that, or something that you want to share that maybe had worked for you previously, but as you step even more into the evolution of your company that you've had to let go of?
Yeah. So I use sort of the 12-week year model, and sort of like trying to really structure and figure out my days and figure out my time. And so I was realizing, like in the past, like I would just maybe create to-do lists, and I would not really put too much like structure to it. I'll just say like, hey, I want to accomplish this, this, and that. And then I would realize like, the day would go by. And because I didn't put like, too much pressure on like when I wanted to get it done, what time I wanted to get it done, how I wanted to get it done, it would just allow me to kind of be, all over with just I put things in place, but there was no true structure to it. So I think as I began to evolve, I'm now writing and putting like specific times to certain things, and also reviewing and monitoring, like what I want to accomplish, and sort of ensuring that, those things are being done and checking them off.
So what does that kind of look like? Just because I feel like that's what so many people struggle with. I know you said that maybe you have your top priorities. Do you pick like 3 for the day and then actually schedule them in, or how does that look?
I do. I sort of, one of the things I do, and I really enjoy doing it, I create a brain dump. So I do that every week. I create a brain dump, and because I'm creative and entrepreneur, that puts everything and keeps everything in my brain. So I created brain dump, and I sort of, every day sort of dump things in there, but then revisit it at the end of the day. And I kind of, say to myself, like, all right, where are we with these projects? And I do, go and start to, so for the day, I will then pull out 2 or 3, and I'll say, all right, these are the main ones that I want to prioritize and work on for the day. So, those are definitely some of the tips and things that I've done to really become organized and structured and sort of ensure that I am doing things the right way.
Oh man, I love that. I literally have my brain dump on the other side of the page of my notes for you. Because I love that. I work the same way, and I go through and I star the ones I need to do that day. So good. I'm on the right path. Okay. Awesome. So you also have a class that teaches people how to start their own essentially apparel company, right? Or is it really specifically t-shirts? So tell me about that.
So it's called the T class. I mean, we do go over other products, but the benefit is I want that people, especially women, I would love that if you are trying to figure out like just, residual income or, just even a side hustle and something, for your family. And you're like, hey, I need a couple of bucks. I want to be able to allow to give to people, this thing that they can do even from their house or to outsource it, and that you can make money from, starting an apparel business. So, it's been really rewarding with the T class, where I've even had like kids come to us that want to start their own t-shirt company, and I've helped them to, jumpstart that as well.
That's so awesome. And that was tclass.com?
Yep. You got
Amazing.
it. Thank you.
So how about when you think about being aligned in your life, what feels aligned for you right now? What feels a little bit out of alignment, if anything? Maybe it doesn't.
Yeah. So, I think one of the things that are, look, you got to be either doing something really well and then something else is going to be a little bit off. And I think that that's the true course. You're not going to have everything being aligned at the same time. I think as a mom and a single mom, I think one of the things I'm always playing tug of war with is my son, and sort of like just, where he is, and just sort of ensuring that I can't take my eyes off of him for a second. He's 8 years old. And so, the minute I do is the minute that things kind of get awry. So I think for me, I've been doing a really good job at when I'm creating my goals, either for the quarter or for the week or for the, or for the year, I try to now put my son in as well. And, he's also a part, like the same way I'm making financial goals or goals for my business, I'm also now making parenting goals, so I say to myself, and I'll be realistic, whether it is spending a weekend with him. And, instead of saying every weekend or one day a week, or, I'm like, okay, commit to at least 2 weekends a month in which, or even 1 week in a month in which you give him your all and you're not like doing work or you're not doing anything. And, and that's been sort of my, technique in sort of ensuring that, that part of life doesn't fall too short.
So good. What are you doing when you're at your best?
When I'm at my best, I am eating well. I'm running. I'm going to sleep, at a pretty decent time. I'm not overworking. I'm not feeling stressed out. I am in a good place. And it's even if I, don't get everything done during the day, I'm not beating myself up because I know I've done the best I can. So I think when I'm at my best is when I am letting go.
I'm literally, those are like the 3 things I'm working on right now. Just better sleep, letting go, like God's got it. Yeah. Just like eating really well, because man, and I know that you know this, like when you are operating, on another level or when you're always trying to go to the next level in your life and business, it's like you have to upgrade the operating system, which is you, which I'm like, okay, what else can I do to get more motivation, more inspiration, more energy, which is like one of our most important, things that we can get. So is that kind of what you do? Like just take an assessment when you're like, whoa, I'm kind of like running low here. Something's not right. What do you go through in your head? Is there like a checklist when things are off, when you don't feel great, or when your business is kind of at a standstill? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a runner. And so I always like either in the mornings or I try to go for a run and really assess where I am and how I feel and what is going to make me feel, better and more at peace. And I know that, I think for me, I'm really conscious with the fact that I know, especially entrepreneurship, it's not going to always be, on the high where you're having a great day. Sometimes you'll be vibrating a bit low, but I try to ask myself, like, why? Is it because you just didn't get what you want? Is it because you're working really hard today? And, I allow myself to sort of feel. And then, if I'm vibrating low, to be like, all right, it's okay to have a day off. And it's okay to know, like, all right, I don't feel good today. Like maybe I should, take a break or, and not work, maybe it's a great opportunity to sort of put the pencil down and do something creative, draw, do some artwork, go for a walk, or, enjoy the outsides without doing something that is work related. So I definitely think that, I think for me, I just try to tap into those emotions and try to figure out why I'm feeling the way that I might feel.
It is so incredibly powerful. Oh my God. We walk every day. I'm also a runner, but we take a walk every day too. And my husband will say to me, like, if I'm like, oh, I'm feeling like crap, or, oh, I'm anxious or whatever it is, he's like, great, enjoy it. Can you really
Right.
it? And I'm like,
right.
it like frustrates me in the moment. And then it brings me back to like, it's just a feeling like it's just visiting you and it's okay. Like it's so normal. I don't know about you, but for me, half of the battle is the resistance around the feeling that I'm feeling. And if I can just let it go, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. And it's probably telling me something and asking me to, reroute or readjust or whatever it is.
No, I totally understand. And I think you're right,
Mm.
And so I think it takes those moments of you tapping into yourself and making sure you know yourself and you
Mm.
could really assess, how you feel.
Mm-hmm. What's feeling like really fun for you right now?
Let me think. I mean, I love travel. Even though, we're in I think we're
Yeah,
coming out of the
we
dark
are.
a little bit. And so I think I recently did something really cool where I went to Joshua Tree in
Mm.
California and I stayed in a bubble in the desert.
Oh,
So
cool.
I think exploring new things and definitely like just doing stuff that's outside my norm is definitely something that, I really appreciate and enjoy doing.
Okay, so I know staying in a bubble in a desert, something's got to come out of it. So, what do you think was like when you came home? What was the thing that kind of either it opened you up to, or that you just experienced, or how we kind of like have these life like moments where you go and you experience outside of the box, essentially in a bubble, this bubble, and you came home. What was kind of the takeaway from that?
I think the takeaway was, I feel like before the desert, it was a real representation of like sort of like the time we were in. So
Mm-hmm.
like, before the desert, and like late last year with all the chaos of, where the world was, I
Mm-hmm.
think that it was, I was trying to find peace within the mess. And, so when I did the desert, coming out of it, I really felt like, you sometimes need calm, you need stillness, you need quiet, and you need isolation sometimes to really, get your calm. And so I think for me, that is what like the bubble in the desert did. Like I needed to be still.
Oh, so good. I definitely feel that craving that just like getting for me, I'm very much like that too, like where you have to almost seclude to like get your thoughts back together to hear what is you and what is other people, like separating, what are you actually thinking and feeling? I don't know. Are you more of do you kind of pick up on people's emotions? Do you feel like you're a bit of an empath? What would you describe yourself as?
I was gonna say that's an empath, isn't it?
Mhm.
Sometimes I think I'm probably tapping more and more into that side of me, where I am understanding a little bit more. I think I'm also gravitating towards people who are more of empaths, like, just to explore if that's me and what, how to tap into those things. So yeah.
That's awesome. How would you describe yourself to somebody if they, just what are probably 3 or 4 traits that you think are your strongest?
I am definitely a person who is courageous. I try anything and everything.
Mm.
I am a person who is curious, so I think that I go down a path that maybe a lot of other people won't venture down. I'm pretty energetic. I'm pretty, fun loving and also, just a person that I'm a really kind individual. And I think that, I really am the type of person who I want to I want to see others win. So I'm always here
Mm.
to sort of be helpful to
Mm.
people.
That's awesome. Tell me just a little bit about your relationship with fear and maybe how it's evolved as you've, done more and more things.
Fear is something that can be very crippling.
Mm.
And I think that I learned that early on, sort of, coming to this country from another country and like, just being fearful of things. But I have really learned in the last couple of years to sort of run towards it and to be fearless. Only because I really feel like, that's where the magic is, it's in those places that you're the most afraid to go.
Mhm.
And so it's been rewarding for me, like, the more that I venture into spaces that I'm afraid of is the more beautiful, like, things I have discovered.
Mm. Oh yeah. Unfortunately true, and also awesomely true.
Right.
Because it evolves us. It's great. It's also really challenging. But yeah, isn't that the truth? Like just, man, if we just ran toward our fear every single day, we would pretty much have everything that we wanted. So, oh my gosh. Okay. So if you could only print one more t-shirt, what would that message be around?
So I think one of my favorite messages is as strong as the woman next to me. And so I think that, that message really resonates with a lot of people. And I think that I would probably reprint that shirt and, because it's a true representation of like sort of what I created and why I created this business.
Oh my gosh. I have full body chills because that message like hits so home to me because we are also, the people that we are around. And it's just, not only do we get to become the people that we're around, but they raise our vibration if we're with them too. So it's just, yeah, I love that. Okay. Last question here. What is something that you want to claim for yourself? Like, what is something right now you just would like want to put the stake in the ground, unapologetically saying what you want to do, what you're going for?
I want to go public. I want a company that will eventually go public. I just think it's important, especially like as a Black woman-owned business. I would just love to accomplish that.
Well, that felt good. That felt true. That felt good. That was so beautiful. So, any last messages for our listeners that you want to share? And also, where can we find you? Where can we follow you? All of the things.
Yeah, I would just really say, just do it, just go ahead and just start. A lot of us have really amazing ideas that we sort of keep in our heads and in our hearts because we are so afraid of what's on the other side of the door. But I would really encourage anyone to run towards it because there's amazing things on the other side of the door. And you can follow me on social media at Mess in a Bottle. Also shop our website at www.messinabottle.com.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I so appreciate you. And just honestly, like how just bold and how you unapologetically go after what you want. And it's such permission for all of us. And I'm so grateful. So you guys, one of the biggest things that you can do for Kalilah is to, number one, go follow her. Number two, buy her stuff. Actually, buy her stuff first and then go follow her. But also, you guys know that we love to share your biggest takeaway on here. So make sure you tag her, upload the story of this podcast. Make sure you tag her and let her know what your biggest takeaway was. And Kalilah, do you want them to tag Mess in a Bottle on Instagram?
I sure do. Yep, that's what you tag. I'll see it the fastest there.
Amazing. So tag Mess in a Bottle. Let her know what your aha moment or your biggest takeaway was. And you guys, it's always just fun for us to be able to see who's listening and who we got to impact today. So you guys, until next time, earn your happy. Bye-bye. Hey y'all, I'm so excited to share with you, Earn Your Happy is now part of Growth Day Podcast Network. A bunch of us are coming together to bring more growth to the world and support shows and brands that we truly believe in. And one of my friends is also on the network, and I'd love for you to go subscribe to his show. You guys, Trent Shelton has the most incredible podcast. It's called Straight Up with Trent Shelton, and it's going to remind you that you are built for this. I have heard Trent speak in person multiple times. I've listened to his podcast a ton. He's coming on the show, and I literally cannot wait because this man just spits straight fire. It is like truth that goes to your core and makes you take action right away. If you want one of those podcasts that when you're just out on a walk, you can't help but want to start running and run through a wall in your life, this is the show to go listen to. So you guys, make sure that you go subscribe to the show, Straight Up with Trent Shelton. You're going to love it.
Hey, thanks for listening to the podcast. And I want to make sure that you have my phone number, and I'm not kidding. Did you know that I have a community text number? For real. My phone number is 310-496-8363. This goes directly to my phone. All you have to do is text the word daily to 310-496-8363. And I literally text you every single day, Monday through Friday. I actually just got done 30 seconds ago texting a bunch of people back, and I talk to you all of the time. You guys, people always ask me how I got my community text number and how it works. Well, all you have to do is you can just go to community.com and get your own. Community makes it easy to get a phone number that you can use to build your audience using text. People just text you at your number and they're added to your group. Then you can text them out audios, video links, anything you want. You guys, I text out happy birthday videos. I love to send podcast links, thoughts about life, book recommendations, different events that I'm doing in the local area. Texting gets me out of the noise of social media and directly into your hand. And now you can start texting your people too. Just go to community.com to get your phone number. They give you a 10-digit real phone number, not those weird short codes that look like spam, but it's more than a phone number. Your new number comes with an inbox for SMS and texting. This means you can actually manage your text list from your computer and an app on your phone. You can schedule text to send at certain times and to certain groups. You can even set up auto replies or let your assistant or customer service team answer your text messages via Community's awesome dashboard. Just go to community.com and ask for a free demo. They'll show you how it works and get you your number. It's time to start texting your audience versus just posting on social media. Everyone uses Community for that. So go check them out at community.com. I can tell you it's not just great for communicating with my audience, but Chris and I use Community and our texts to also sell out our launches. I'm telling you, you get such an incredible response because you really are creating a true, deep sense of community. And it's so intimate. It's freaking amazing. Go check it out at community.com. Hey, I know if you're listening to this podcast that you have big dreams and big goals. And one of the things that can really stop you is struggling with your marketing. Trust me, I have been there. Are you using 10 different systems just to build your online business? Then I want you to try Kajabi. Kajabi helps you build your web pages, set up funnels, and sell your courses, content, coaching, or communities. You've been hearing me talk a lot about funnels on this podcast and the importance of your email list. You can get a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com. I've talked about Kajabi before, but here's something that's super cool and new. They just rolled out an AI assistant for creating your online course curriculum. And this means you just type in a topic that you want to create on a course or webinar and bam, it just generates a sample outline for you. It takes a ton of the hard work away. Of course, you're going to customize it to be your own, but this really helps you get over the struggle of how in the world to start, which is where most people stop. If you're like me, starting is always the hardest part, and that's what makes Kajabi so popular. They've made it easier for creators to build web pages, build courses, build coaching programs, build membership sites, build checkout pages, and build email funnels. So if you're struggling with any of those, you got to go check it out. Go to kajabi.com. Kajabi was really the first all-in-one system and is trusted by over 100,000 creators. I think that's good enough for me. Also has influencers and marketers who use this. And now their smart AI platform makes it easy to take what you know and turn it into an online course and business. Go start building with a free trial at kajabi.com. That's Kajabi.com.